So there's around about 1 week until Van Richten's guide to Ravenloft is released, so here's a video which will explain everything that you can expect from the book and when you open it up what you're actually going to see. So in case you're not aware, Ravenloft is a well-loved campaign setting across multiple editions of Dungeons & Dragons. In 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons there's Curse of Strahd, which is an adventure that takes you through a domain of dread owned by Strahd von Zarovich. So we've already seen in Curse of Strahd one of the domains, which is all around about vampire and gothic horror and Victorian fashion and werewolves and stuff like that, but they have already mentioned some of the domains that will be in this book. And they seem very different to the vampire land owned by Strahd von Zarovich. There is one which is like a zombie apocalyptic land, which looks like they're just zombies as far as you can see, and one fireball isn't going to do much to them. You're going to need to deal with it in a different way. Then they've shown another one which is sort of like a dark fae, fantastical style domain, which is once again very different to the vampires and werewolves that you see in Curse of Strahd. Each of these domains have their own adventure hooks, so you can jump into the domain and create your own campaign. And they have said that they've done it in a way so that if you end Curse of Strahd, you can jump to another domain and pick up where Curse of Strahd left off, which is a really cool addition in case you don't have anything planned for when you end Curse of Strahd and people want to keep playing with the same characters. There's also a section which talks you through creating your own domain if you wanted to create your own gothic horror style domain and add that into the already existing domains of dread. If you have run Curse of Strahd in the past, you might remember something called dark gifts, and they're gifts that you can give to one of your characters or one of your players, and it will sort of warp their character but also give them some big benefits. Well, in this book there are more of them, and it also talks you through how you can create your own. So if you really enjoyed that from Curse of Strahd, or you really enjoy the idea of that, so it's something you can give which is very powerful but has a very big backlash as well, then there's going to be more in this book as well. And because this whole campaign setting is all around horror, there is a chapter which is all about how to run a horror campaign. And this includes tools that you can pick up and use in your campaigns to help give across this whole haunted horror style of feel. And it's also got an area which helps you to determine what area is too far for your players and where is not enough. With horror, you could go extremely gruesome and really far, but might make your players feel uncomfortable. So there's this fine balance, and there is areas in this book that help you to find that balance for you and your players. There's also a haunted house style adventure in this book, so if you don't want to create your own, you can just pick up this one and go through it. I think it's around about 20 to 30 pages, so a pretty good sized adventure. But of course you could go and pick up Curse of Strahd, which is a full adventure that takes your characters from around about level 3 to 10. I should mention as well that if you do want to go ahead and buy this book, there is a link down to Amazon below which will take you straight to the book, and if you do buy the book through that link, it's an affiliate link, which means I get a small cut of commission which helps me to grow this channel, and it doesn't cost you anything more, so I would really appreciate if you could do that. So let's move on to what there is for your player characters. There are new lineages which are slightly different to races. They're trying to sort of move away from the idea of a races because of the backlash they got with the Vistani in the Curse of Strahd book, so they're calling them lineages, and there are 3 of them. There's a vampire, which is not a full vampire, it's just a part vampire, but it's a really good feel for some of the domains of dread, and it's going to be pretty cool to play a part vampire. There's also the Reborn, which if you think like Frankenstein or some sort of a flesh construct, that's sort of what this is, so your player could be one of them. And then finally there is Hexblood, which is like a cursed style of player. So if you've got any players which are sort of into that idea, maybe they're playing a warlock, it would go quite nicely with that, you can give this to them as an option. All of these lineages really fit into the domains of dread. I'm not sure how well they would fit if you took them out and put them on the Sword Coast, for example, or a more traditional style of D&D campaign, but in the domains of dread and in the whole theme around this book, they fit really well. There are also 2 new subclasses that your players can pick from: the College of Spirits for your Bard and the Undead Patron for your Warlock. Both of these have been in the Unearthed Arcana, which is test material that Wizards of the Coast put out that you can go and look at. But if you're not familiar with them, then the College of Spirits Bard is basically a bard that uses spirits, and it can control spirits to do what it wants and stuff like that. So it's got that kind of feel around it. And in the Undead Warlock Patron, it's sort of self-explanatory. It's a patron that is undead in some way. So it could be Strahd von Zarovich the vampire, or it could be some big zombie lord. It could even be one of the rulers of one of the domains of dread. So there's some fun ways you can tie in the backstory of your player into your campaign if you are into doing that. If you found this video useful so far, I would really appreciate it if you could give it a like. It helps the YouTube algorithm to show this to more people that might benefit from knowing what's going to be inside this book before they decide to purchase. And of course, it helps me to grow this channel. And then the final thing that you can expect from this book is a lot more monsters. And it has said that there are going to be some old favourites, but there are also some brand new creatures here, which I'm really excited about. I think if you've got players that have been playing Dungeons & Dragons for quite a long time, they get used to the creatures which are already in the books or have been in previous editions. So putting some new creatures that they don't know what to expect when you throw it at them really helps. So when the book is released in a week, I'll be doing more videos going through all of these sections so that you can see exactly what is in the book. So make sure to subscribe if you want to see them. If you're viewing this video in the future and the book is already out, then go across to my channel and check out what other videos I did around the book and the contents of the book. On the day after the release, so on the 19th of May, I am going to be doing a live stream where I'm going to go through the book live and you'll be able to see my first reactions and see what exactly is in the book with me. So make sure to subscribe and come along to that live stream so we can have a look through and have a chat about what we think about the contents. But until next time, happy gaming.